All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT practice question series where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Be sure to check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, please let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. An 8-year-old grabs a piece of bread and goes to put it in the toaster. He forgets to start the toaster, so his sister says, "You have to push down the handle," then grabs his hand and helps him push the handle down. What describes the sister's behavior? All right, so a pretty straightforward behavior question. One of the hardest parts about a behavior question is identifying who are we looking at. Especially when there's two or more people, you want to identify whose behavior exactly you're concerned with. In this case, we know we're looking at the sister's behavior. So what context are we talking about? Well, there's an 8-year-old who grabs a piece of bread and puts it in the toaster. He doesn't start the toaster, so his sister, who we're looking at, says, "You have to push down the handle," then grabs his hand and helps him push the handle down. Now, immediately, if you've been working on your fluency, what does this look like to you? To me, it looks like a prompt. We have our SD, you have to push down the handle, and then the prompt immediately after, where the sister grabs the hand and pushes the handle down. So, how would you describe that prompt? A partial physical prompt. What's the difference between a partial physical and a full physical? Well, the full physical prompt, we are doing the action or response for the learner physically. In this case, the sister grabbed the hand and pushed the handle all the way down. So the sister helped the learner, or in this case, the 8-year-old, do the entire response physically. Partial physical, we're not going to use such an intrusive amount of physical prompting. Maybe she gently pushes on his elbows, maybe she gently guides his hand. It's going to be a lot less intrusive than what she's done, which is a full physical prompt. Why isn't it graduated guidance? Well, the graduated guidance, we're only going to interject with a physical prompt as needed, and then we're going to immediately remove them. So you're only giving as much physical prompting as necessary, and then you're immediately removing that physical prompt. In this case, the sister went straight to a full physical prompt. And then modeling, the sister's obviously not modeling. If the sister was doing a modeling prompt, she would have herself pushed down the handle, and then hopefully the 8-year-old would have imitated. But that's not what occurred. What occurred and what describes the sister's behavior is going to be B, a full physical prompt. Landry is a strong student, but will often show frustration and even anger when he is interrupted while working on his math problems. His teacher wants to start using antecedent interventions in order to address the frustration and anger. Which of the following strategies would help the teacher achieve her goal? All right, this is a trickier question. We have to be very precise here. We're looking at the teacher and we want to help the teacher achieve her goal. Remember, in ABA, we're working towards goals. And so when we pick interventions and measurements and consequences, we're always trying to achieve our goal. In this case, Landry shows frustration and anger when interrupted. So that's what the problem is. The teacher wants to use antecedent interventions to address this. So an antecedent intervention is going to come prior to the frustration and anger. So what can the teacher do to achieve this goal? A, the teacher should reduce the difficulty of the math problems that Landry is working on. Now, is the problem the difficulty? It's not. The problem is Landry's interrupted. And this is what I talk about when we're talking about goals. The issue is the interruption. We don't talk about difficulty here. We're just saying he gets interrupted, he becomes frustrated and angry. So A is a strategy, but is it the best strategy? B, the teacher should give Landry a warning when he has 5 minutes left to work on his math problems. Good. This is an antecedent to the interruption, right? She's letting Landry know there's a time limit left, preparing him for the interruption. B looks pretty good. C, the teacher should remove all privileges from Landry when he shows frustration or anger. Well, we need antecedent interventions, and C is going to be a consequence, right, of the frustration and anger. And then D, the teacher should call Landry's parents and discuss this with them. This is not going to be the antecedent to the frustration or the interruption. Should she do that? Most likely. But we're trying to address the frustration and anger here with an antecedent strategy. And so the best answer is going to be B. This is the tricky question because you've got to be very precise and you've got to really search and pick best answer available which is going to be B. You, a behavior technician, are running discrete trials with your client. You're working on letter identification. You tell your client, touch A, then point at A, and the client points at B. What should come next in discrete trial teaching? Think about the sequence for DTT. We have an SD, we have prompts if necessary, we have a response, we have a consequence, and then we pause. So where are we at in our sequence? We're working on letter identification. You tell the client touch A, and the client, or you tell the client touch A, which is our SD. You then point at A, which is our prompt. The client points at B, which is the response. So what comes next? Well, it's going to be our consequence. And DTT is that straightforward. You just want to remember our sequence. We give the instruction, we give the SD. If prompt is necessary, we then prompt. If not, then we just wait for the response. We provide the consequence. Following the consequence, brief pause, and we start again. This is the essence of discrete trial teaching. So if the client has engaged in the response, the next option, or the next thing in the sequence, I should say, is going to be the consequence. Tanya wants her kids to start bringing their dirty clothes downstairs each night to be washed. Tanya starts to provide coins that can be exchanged for different items each time clothes are brought downstairs. After 2 weeks, the kids are consistently bringing their clothes down. What was the likely consequence based on this information? Now we have to identify the consequence here and what type of consequence it was based on information. So don't jump immediately to the answer choices. Think about the question. Tanya, what does she want to accomplish? She wants the kids to bring their dirty clothes downstairs. What does Tanya do? She starts to provide coins that can be exchanged for different items when clothes are brought downstairs. Looks like some sort of maybe token economy. After 2 weeks, the kids are now bringing their clothes down. Why is that important? Well, that's important because in order to identify the consequence, we've got to know how did behavior change. In this case, the kids' behavior increased. They started to bring the clothes downstairs. And why? Well, when they did, they would get the coins or the tokens, and they'd exchange the items. So they would receive something which reinforced their behavior, making this what? Well, making this likely a positive reinforcement. Something is added, making it positive. The coins are added. Their behavior increased, making it reinforcement. Why isn't it B, negative reinforcement? Well, nothing was removed as a consequence. The coins were being given, provided. It's almost like a token economy. And it can't be C or D. It can't be punishment because the behavior increased. The behavior increases, punishment did not occur. What occurred was reinforcement. So what was the likely consequence based on this information? Was A, positive reinforcement. Skill acquisition plan says the mastery criterion for the current skill is 4 consecutive correct responses during one session. Analyze the following data and determine when the client reached mastery if 1 is correct and 0 is incorrect or no response. So pretty straightforward data analysis question, not too complicated. Don't overthink this one. What are we trying to accomplish? Well, the mastery criterion, 4 consecutive correct responses during one session. So if you're looking for mastery, what are you looking for? Well, you're looking for consecutive responses. Very straightforward if you don't rush and if you understand the question. So let's figure out when we reached mastery. We had correct, incorrect. So we didn't reach it there. We then have correct, correct, correct. Didn't reach it there. But then after the 0, the no response or incorrect, we then have 4 in a row. So how many did it take? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So we have 10 responses. So after 10 responses, it was correct. So let's look for that. Well, we have A following the first response. We know we couldn't have achieved mastery following the first response because we need 4 consecutive. B following the 5th response, which is here. We don't have 4 consecutive. It can't be B. C following the final response. Yes, that's what we're looking for. So when did we reach mastery? Well, C, following the final response. Thank you so much for watching. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know when you pass. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.